Life is perfect today. I wouldn't want to spend it any other way.
Okay. Here, I pulled this guy out already. You want to see him? This here is our baby snapper. A lot of people are terrified of snappers, but they've actually got an incredibly docile temperament if they're raised right and if they've been in captive since birth. This is actually a snapper that one of my friends hatched from an egg a little less than 3 years ago, so he's almost 3 years old. It's difficult to tell at this age for sure whether he's male or female, but based on the size of his tail and his underbelly, oh, I know. This one would be a male because his tail goes all the way up half of his shell, and the females typically have less pronounced and shorter tails. All kinds of excited, aren't you? I want to go running around. He wants to go running around outside again. So this is our male snapper. My friend thought it was an alligator snapper, and it's not. And despite the one shying away from him, they actually all get along very well, which is strange for land-based turtles. You're seeing a lot of eastern boxers. This is one of my favorite things. A lot of eastern boxers. As you can tell, some of them have some shell damage, and some of them, they're all rescues from the middle of the road, save for this one. And you guys saw the more recent project. This turtle is actually, ooh, he did a little flip. Now he's back in his favorite little area, the water. Oh, come on, girl. You can make it. So, as I was saying, my friend hatched him from an egg a few years ago, and he ended up catching shell rot, which we helped heal. And my friend had another one that he'd caught a little bit more recently, and he decided since we took care of that one, took him in and healed the shell rot, which is pretty difficult to get rid of. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of care and a lot of attention, that he'd just leave them here with us. So here's our two babies. They're both eastern boxers. One's more ornate than the other. One of them has shell damage. Hang on, you're showing Littlefoot off. I'm trying to show baby. She has a little bit of shell damage up on top here. Probably from a predator before we found her.
She's a little girl.
She's a little girl. And then we've got a little boy. This here is called Littlefoot. We found him in the middle of the road, and as you can tell, a predator took the liberty of taking one of his little footsies away. Which is why we named him Littlefoot. Just like, there was a Disney movie I loved when I was a little bitty kid. It had Littlefoot, a dinosaur, I think a long neck, or a brontosaurus. Anyway, so there's Littlefoot and little girl. This here's Big Mama. Despite her name, she is not the biggest female in the bunch. She is just the first one that we got, and we named her Big Mama. Most of them, like I said, don't have names because it's difficult to differentiate sometimes. We just decided not to name them. She's being a little shy right now. But she's very good. They're all very good about getting attention. So in here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eastern box turtles. And we need a larger terrarium. We just can't afford one right now. This is the biggest that we could buy without having it custom made. We have 6 eastern boxers. A couple of them are more ornate than the rest. We have one terrapin, also known as a yellow belly slider. They're very common around here. Let's see if I can get his face in there good. So there's our terrapin. And here's the yellow belly slider part. This is a female terrapin. You can tell because that has a shorter tail and the bottom is more smooth and flat. There you go. So in this bunch we have one male. All the females get along okay. The male, well, first off, you can tell he's a male because he has a recurved plastrum, the underbelly. He doesn't like attention very much. Look at him hiding in there. Sneaky little dude. Turtle stealth mode activate. Alright. Now, I would not advise this at home, ladies and gentlemen, but Hubster has taken the time long ago to teach his turtles how to eat by hand. It's a dangerous maneuver. If you are adventurous and decide to ignore that disclaimer, I highly advise that you start with tweezers. Here you go, little girl. Yep, make sure it's not the finger and then go for it. There you go. Here you go, little foot. Oop, you missed. There you go. Hey, greedy mama. She's always greedy. That's the one one of the ones you got to watch out for. She'll accidentally go for a part of a finger. Be gentle. Gentle? Yeah, that's right. Be gentle.
Do the daddy. He's like, I want some. He's so lonely. So
There you go, Big Daddy.
lonely.
You gonna go for it in hand? You being all shy on camera? Littlefoot's gonna take it away from you. I kinda figured that might get your attention. You can tell the males have much redder eyes, and that is natural and normal. And Sheba decides to poke over here and say, hey. Be gentle, Big Daddy. There you go. Not so bad. Now, Big Mama, she was the first one that learned how to eat by hand.
And Littlefoot.
Littlefoot was the second. Big Mama is always very careful. Isn't that right, sweetie?
You mean the other Big Mama?
Oh, this is Big Mama right here.
You said Big Mama to the other one.
That's a greedy Mama. Make sure it's not a hand. There you go, nice and gentle. She's always very careful.
You want some?
Who? Terrapin? Now, terrapins and aquatic turtles have a much faster bite. Again, I especially do not advise teaching your aquatic turtles to eat by hand. Because they have a much faster, much more powerful bite. Come on, you know what this is. Oh, you seize it. Okay, you can have one first. That's Shy Mama. She's our most recent one, so she's very shy still. Quit getting knocked around, you can see it.
He's not sure he wants it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh crap.
Oh lordy.
I've never tried with this one. Like I said, I do not advise, because snapping turtles have one of the most powerful jaw bites of the animal kingdom. Very strongly advise against teaching them to eat by hand. Definitely, if you're going to teach them, start with a pair of tweezers. And be careful, because tweezers can hurt their beak too. So that's another thing. You still have to be very careful how you hold it in the tweezers. And you can't jerk your hand around or they'll bite part of the tweezers, and again that will hurt their beak. So it's not a good thing. You have to be awfully careful when teaching them how to eat by hand. Here you go, Littlefoot. Littlefoot's nice and careful too. Littlefoot and Big Mama have had the hang of this for the longest time out of all of them. So they're especially careful. Even Wifie will feed Big Mama by hand, isn't that right? Here, feed Big Mama one. I'll hold the camera for a sec. Or have you got it? She's gauging to tell what's your finger and what's not. Now she's going to go for it real slowly like. There she goes. She's real gentle. Now you ought to see, in fact we'll show you, the difference between them going for food by hand. Ooh, oh my gosh. Take a step back to take a look at the food and then you just knock yourself right off, don't you? There you go. Make sure it's not finger, jeez. That's, like I said, that's Shy Girl. She is still very timid, so she's a whole lot more afraid, I guess you could say. Yeah, timid, afraid, whatever. Now, we've shown you all the turtles eating by hand, except for the terrapin, because the terrapin's being really shy today for some reason. Normally the terrapin goes for it before the snapper turtle will. But for whatever reason, she's being very shy today. So, as I mentioned, we showed you them eating by hand, so that you don't think the turtles can just naturally be that gentle and that careful. It's important that you see them eating wild. Here's some crickets. Now you're going to see them start to hunt, and how much faster they will be striking at their food. And if you first start to try to teach them to eat by hand, this is how fast they will be striking at your hand. Oops, she's going for one now. Oh, she got one! I don't even think she grabbed the one she was aiming for. She's so bad at hunting. Look at that fast bite, and it's incredibly powerful. A full-grown snapper, first off, can weigh up to 40, even 50 pounds. That's the snapper. I wouldn't advise biting him, girl. She's nuzzling the other turtle with her. They don't have the best vision. So she is nuzzling the other turtle with her nose or her beak to see if it is something that she wants to eat. At either rate,
There's some more over here.
Okay. As snapper turtles have a powerful bite, they have been known to live for over 150 years. They can well outlive, and this turtle right here, if taken well care of, will outlive both Wifie and I by a large margin. Will outlive us. So, ooh, look at him go. He can live, like I said, up to 150 years. That it's proven, because they've found musket balls in living snapping turtles and alligator snapping turtles from the Civil War 150-ish years ago. So that's how you know how old that they can get. Like I said, they can get very large, over 40 pounds, easily over 40 pounds. What else? Just very big. And again, you saw how docile he is. I would not advise trying to tame one that's already full grown in the wild. We happened to get lucky, had a friend that caught him as a hatchling and couldn't keep him healthy, so he turned him over to us and we got him back to healthy. Just like our other project, the mud turtle or the musk turtle that you guys saw in an earlier episode. I think on day 6, he had shell rot and wasn't well fed. Now he's very well fed and no longer has shell rot. Here, I'll pick up the snapper again. Here's the baby snapper. Again, very sweet disposition, has never threatened to bite. Chewing on some of his food.
He's like, get me down.
Hey, there's food down there. Let me get back to it. So that's our snapper. extremely sweet, but only because we take the time to handle him and because we've had him since he was a hatchling. Alright, that's Critter Corner for you guys right there. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you guys have any requests, by all means feel free to ask. I'll show some more stuff off. We've rescued plenty of animals. Not that we're asking that you try to send rescues to us. We've got our hands full. Pretty much every animal in this house is a rescue in one way or another, either being mistreated at some point in a pet store, or having trouble crawling across the road, or getting shell rot and had a friend who couldn't take care of it, or in the skink's case, capturing itself over and over. Now the crickets are up here. The skink's back there if you can see her. Here, take a look. For those of you who have been asking about updates on this guy, he's still rather feisty, not very happy, but his shell is doing quite a lot better. I know. He's looking for ways to get a hold of me. This is your standard musk turtle or mud turtle. Very unhappy. Again, wild caught, pretty young. So anyway, his shell is healing up pretty nice. Still got some more healing to do. Oh yes. Very upset right now. He's actually, even though he's kind of making an ass of himself right now, threatening to bite, he's actually calmed down quite a bit. Now he's more threatening than and less actually trying to bite. He's just fearful. He's a scared little turtle. He thinks we're gonna beat him up or kill him or eat him or whatever else. We're just gonna heal his shell, let him eat a little bit, and as you can tell, he's gotten a little bigger since last time you guys have seen him. He's not quite well fed or anything yet, but after it's all said and done, we are going to return him to the wild because this guy is too feisty and too mean to add to the other turtles. I don't think he would be a very docile roommate. So there's your update on this guy. And that's all of Critter Corner for this episode. If you guys want to see some more of the critters or some more of the projects that we've got going on as far as critters go, by all means leave comments. We will show you guys as much as we can. Pretty much anything you guys ask for within reason. And that's it. I'm sorry I dragged this episode long enough already. See you later, interneighbors.
Meow.
But anyway, metal in a microwave makes kabooms. Just for those of you. Feisty's letting me know he don't like it. Metal on the other